You are listening to The Growth Signal. My name is Alyssa Nolte,
And my name is John Dwyer.
and we're going to get right into it. John, what is your hot take?
I guess it would be convincing business owners or entrepreneurs to stop concentrating on price. And for most of us in business, I guess the temptation is always to drop your price to attract new customers. And in my world, because we have a direct response marketing agency, it's all about taking their eyes off the price. So we suggest to people, look, don't market on price, provide people with an incentive, will excite them to buy your product or service.
It's so exciting to have this conversation because I absolutely, as an entrepreneur myself, feel that temptation to like race to the bottom almost on price and to devalue this thing that I've spent a good decade trying to build and prove has value. And then as soon as somebody pushes back on the price, I'm like, you know what? You're right. It isn't worth that decade of time that I've put into it to become an expert in this. Let me just cut my price in half because because I reek of desperation
Yep.
to get your business.
Yep.
So how do we one staunch that impulse because we want to be successful and we want people to like the thing that we, have put together and pay for it? And two, how do we even go about taking their eyes off the price?
Yeah, look, it's really tempting, and I fall into that trap as well. I mean, I fall into the hypocrite category from time to time because I'm tempted to do the same thing. Um, yeah, look, really, when it's all said and done, the easiest way to take people's eyes off the price is to give them a Happy Meal toy. And you're talking to the father of six, and they're all grown up these days. But we had six under 12 at one stage, and we gave McDonald's about $7 gazillion, and it had nothing at all to do with the hamburger and the Happy Meal toy. It had everything. Sorry, in the Happy Meal, it had everything to do with the toy in the Happy Meal.
Yeah.
And Amazon do the same thing these days with their Prime membership. They will give you bonuses like free shipping and free music and free movies and so forth. And Dunkin' Donuts will put you on a points program. There are a few companies out there that do it very, very well. Kellogg's have been doing it for 40 or 50 years with the toy in the cornflakes box. But you know that 97% of all businesses, big or small, in the world, 97% have never used an incentive, because what they do is that they follow the Walmart, Kmart sort of philosophy, and they go down the price discounting path. So my view is that if you are going down the price discounting path and you're taking the risk of your competitor down the road beating you within 5 minutes, but if you come up with a Happy Meal toy, very difficult for them to match that.
I think too, the thing about the Happy Meal toy analogy that I really love is McDonald's is not a toy company, right? They're a food and beverage company.
Mhm.
The toy is not part of their core value proposition, right? That's not the core benefit that they're selling you, which is to give you food. Because it's really easy to say, well, this is what we do and we can do it 20% faster. So I guess they'll just didn't discount it 20%. And I think we have to find ways, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but find ways to add something of value that doesn't devalue the thing that you want to be known for.
Yeah. Dead right. Look, we have a sushi train franchise in Australia, and when you eat sushi at their restaurant, they will give you points that you can spend on more sushi. And my wife hates me because I laugh every time we go there. I said, look, if they turned that points program into free movie tickets, it would probably do 10 times for them what the free sushi is doing. I'm a member of a thing called ADMA. I hate acronyms, by the way. I don't even know what KFC stands for, but this thing is called ADMA, ADMA, and it stands for the Australian Direct Marketing Association. And you guys would have the same thing, the American Direct Marketing Association. And they have their Academy Awards every year. And for the last 5 years, not once has any promotion won whereby the business one award whereby the business has given away more of its product as a reward or bonus. I would suggest to people, absolutely choose an incentive that suits your audience, but make sure that incentive is not more of what you sell. So, for example, if I walked into a menswear store and bought a sports jacket, I'm a baby boomer, so that's the age group I fall into. If they gave me a skateboard, they're on drugs. Okay, it's not the way that I want a skateboard. But if they gave me 2 movie tickets or they gave me a vacation, then yes, they've got me. Message to market match.
I think that that's really important because I'm sitting here kind of racking my brain. So we're a research company, right? We do market research, user experience research, customer buying behavior for large organizations. And I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, what could I give them that wouldn't feel like I'm just giving them a Happy Meal toy that they're going to throw away, right? And so when we're selling things that aren't like tangible, right? We don't necessarily meet these people in person, or, we're not selling them a cheeseburger, so we can't just slip a Happy Meal toy into their bag. How do we start to come up with things that aren't necessarily in our core product or service, but still are aligned? I'm not giving my client a skateboard when they're, a baby boomer, for example.
Yep. Yeah. Look, B2B is more difficult. There's no question about that. B2C is easy. But my Happy Meal philosophy just works a dream, and you can come up with them very, very quickly. Um, B2B is more difficult because you've got corporate governance and all sorts of things that you can't do. Um, I would suggest in your instance, you would probably take a leaf out of what we call our contest leads machine. And what you would do is that you would run a contest, and that contest would be to win a free research package that you provide. The only companies or company owners that would enter that contest are companies that want research. Okay, you don't enter a contest to win a swimming pool if you live in an apartment building.
Right.
And so, we're getting stupid figures for this contest. I've come from a contest background, so I did all the scratch bingos for Rupert Murdoch's newspapers and the Monopoly style promotions for McDonald's and all that stuff. So I know a little bit about what we call avalanche marketing. And for those who are listening, you won't see this, but I'm holding a book to the thing here. That's it, avalanche leads. That's what we do. So when we hold these contests, I'll give an example of, the contest whereby there was it was a home water filtration company. They came on board 2 weeks ago, and they said, we want to sell more $4,000 or $5,000 home filtration systems. I said, okay, well, would you be willing to give away one home water filtration system over a 3, 4, 5 month period? They said, yeah, sure. I said, okay, so we'll run a Facebook campaign. You can turn it on or off throughout that 3 or 4 month period. They put $50 a day against this, so it's not exactly, a Walmart budget. And we just said to people, look, how would you like to win a water filtration system for your entire home? He got just under 1,000 leads in the first week. His head exploded. He's never had 1,000 leads in a year. And so therefore, what happens is that whoever enters the contest to win a home water filtration system obviously wants a water home filtration system. So therefore, then he has his sales team follow them up and say, look, you didn't win. But some good news for you is if you actually decide to go forward with a home water filtration system by the end of the month, we're going to give you a free vacation to Disney World or to New York or whatever. That was the concept I was telling you about before we went live. And so we provide them with the vacation voucher, which will let them go to Disney World or New York or San Diego or Grand Canyon for $50. And the good thing about that is that they've got a lead magnet that brings a lot of leads in, and then they've got a conversion tool where they say, look, buy my product or service by, whatever date, end of the week or end of the month, and I'll give you a free $1,000 vacation. They don't know that the vacation's only costing $50. So the reason that Happy Meal toy works so well is not just because it's a licensed character from DreamWorks or Disney, but also they get that toy made in China for 20 cents, but in Kmart it's $5. So when you're looking for an incentive, look for something that's a small cost to you, but a high perceived value.
I think this is really exciting because my head is just spinning of like, okay, what could I do that's very similar to this? Because if you're a business owner, especially a small business owner, you've tried all of these guru, I'll call them, ideas of like, okay, make a course and do a webinar and, try to get a speaking gig and do a workshop at a conference and, be a sponsor and have a booth and all of these things that are very expensive. Like they start
Yes.
to add up and they
Yep.
take a lot of time. And every time I've tried to build a webinar, I've spent so much time building it. And then I get, 1 to 2 people to actually show up. And I'm like, wait, is this really worth my time and effort? No. So
Yep.
I like the idea of figuring out like, how can we really create high intent interest in someone who wants a whole home water filtration system and a pretty low budget in the grand scheme of ad
Yeah.
spend.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I drink my own Kool-Aid because if we see that we've got a month coming up that might be a bit drier than other months in terms of revenue, I will run a campaign on Facebook and LinkedIn. It's just that LinkedIn's more difficult because, uh, there's a lot of people on LinkedIn who are not decision makers, they're middle management. And so
Mhm.
as long as you can get to the decision makers, then, happy days. In Facebook, because it's a small to medium-sized business, you are dealing with the business owner most of the time. And so I run a contest and also, how would you like to win a free marketing plan from the guy that put together Jerry Seinfeld's last marketing campaign? And I'm dropping names here. I know, I apologize, but I did work with Jerry some years ago for 3 years with a bank down under, whereby he was the spokesman for the bank. And guess what he said when he came on TV? He said, swap your home loan from the Bank of America or Wells Fargo, and we'll give you a free vacation. And so you can see I'm pretty aware of the power of vacations. It made that bank an extra 15 billion, not million, $15 billion in the first 3 years. Um, if Jerry knew how much money the bank made, I think he would have put his prices up. But I'd fly backwards and forth to New York and we'd do the TV ads. And as a result of that, we got contacted by this travel company that we work with now to give away these vacation vouchers for $50. But the thing is that I'll come on, there'll be a picture of me and Jerry. I got Jerry to say at the time, he didn't even ask for a case of beer. Jerry said to me, JD, and my name's John Dwyer, but I get called JD. He said, JD, I'd like to say that you're the best marketing guy I've ever worked with. And of course, the gag is I say, thank you, Jerry. He said, no, I'd like to say that. I can't. And I said, anyway, I use that, of course, and knock the daylights out of that. But I run an ad, and the ad says, how would you like a marketing plan put together absolutely for free with the guy that worked with Seinfeld for 3 years? Now, that puts me in a certain status in anybody's mind. We will get, leads for that, probably for about $30, $40 a lead. And so therefore, if I get 20 leads, it costs me $600. But guess what? Out of those 30 leads, I will pick up 10 new clients. My hit rate's about 1 in 3. So that's a very, very good ROI. And I would suggest you do the same for your research business, where you say, look, win whatever your packages look like. And of course, you run that for as long as you want, a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever you want to do. And then, of course, you've got yourself a list of warm prospects.
So one thing I want to touch on though is it's not just that you're offering a high perceived value offer, right? So like we'll go back to the
Water
whole
filtration.
home filtration system.
Yep.
So like, okay, you're offering something that is high intent and gives you kind of a clue that these are high intent leads. These are people who are likely to convert. And then you're offering something that you can give away. You're putting a little money behind it to get it in front of people.
Yep.
But you also have to have some level of credibility that goes along with this, right?
Yep.
Like if I click on that offer for that water filtration system and it takes me to like a funeral home's website, I'll be like, this doesn't feel right to me. Like this person has no expertise when it comes to water filtration. So your point about like, hey, this is me standing next to Jerry Seinfeld and I'm the guy who helped him with this marketing campaign and we brought in this $15 billion for the bank. Those are credit markers that make me say, okay, cool. The marketing plan that I get from you is going to be of value because you've demonstrated the credibility. Therefore, I'm even more willing to put my name into the proverbial hat to be drawn for this prize.
Yep, that's right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, we put the landing page together for the companies when we do anyone can swipe the idea and do it, but you can also do your own motor vehicles, grease and oil change, but you normally don't. So we actually provide them with the package. So we put the ad together to say win 2 months worth of lawn mowing or to win free Invisalign braces for your child or whatever it might be. We've got all sorts of businesses that do this stuff. And they just give away their product or service as the prize. So we put together the Facebook campaign, but we also put together the landing page. When they go to the landing page to put their entry in, so they click the Facebook ad, they go through to the contest page. Then, of course, on that contest page is the cred build. So we provide a complete credibility build for the business there, so they know that they're not dealing with the guy down the street who's selling watches.
And you mentioned it a couple times, but I have to ask, tell me more about this vacation thing. You said free vacations, $50. Like, tell me more.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid, isn't it? Yeah. And if anyone wants to have a look at it, just go to vacationsincentive.com. Okay. But essentially, we did this campaign with Jerry and it basically went nuts down under. He didn't come down under for the campaign. I flew over to New York all the time and we just filmed the ads in New York. But as a result of that, this travel company contacted me and just said, look, we've got access to unsold rooms right throughout America at all the hotspots and right throughout the world. We're not marketers, but you look like you are. So do you want to join forces and you pay us a royalty? And we'll give you these, to give away as Happy Meal toys for businesses. So that's what we did. It was about 6 months before COVID that we launched, and it was a money tree for us. It was just unbelievable. And then, of course, I said to my
And then
wife,
COVID, yeah.
yeah, I said to my wife, this is the retirement package, and I said, we won't go to Fiji, we'll buy Fiji. And of course, God thought my head got too big, so God thrust COVID on the world. That was my fault. So we
I was
sat
gonna
on.
say, you're the reason we had that whole situation. Like, come on, man.
I'm sorry, but yeah. So anyway, it's all over these days. But yeah, so what happens is that these hotels give up their rooms free of charge outside of school vacation periods because they're hoping that people will come and spend money on food and beverage. That's it. That's where they get their win. And so what we did is we packaged this up and we provided to businesses, mainly small to medium-sized businesses, and they actually buy the vouchers from us for $50. And then what they do is say, look, buy my refrigerator and get a free vacation, or buy my lawn mowing service and get a free vacation, or whatever it may be. And you won't get a more powerful Happy Meal toy than giving someone a vacation because it's up there at the top of the list in terms of, what people want. And so, yeah, that's it. And really, at the end of the day, I've tried everything. I've tried incentives. But if you give someone a $50 meal voucher, they know that you've just valued them at $50. If you give them 2 tickets to the movies, again, they know that you value them at $50. But if you give them one of these vouchers that clearly is 3 to 7 nights accommodation in Vegas and New York and Disney World and all these places, they know that it's worth $1,000, but they don't know that you've only spent $50 for it.
Considering all the people that you know or aspire to know, who else is out there? Who else do we need to be listening to?
Look, this won't come as a surprise to you, but my whole thing is wow factor. Our business is called the Institute of Wow, and so probably won't come as a surprise to you. You've been doing these podcasts for a while. Seth Godin would probably be a guy that I would suggest that people might like to have a look at his Purple Cow book, because he tends to subscribe to the same theory. The book Purple Cow came along, you probably know, because he and his wife were driving in the country and all the cows looked the same. And he just said to his wife, imagine if one of those cows was purple, it would probably stand out. And hence the name of his book, Purple Cow. So, because he's probably got the same mantra that I've got, I would suggest that he's someone who I have followed for a while. Look, I am complete right brain, so therefore I've had to have people with me over the years to show me what a spreadsheet looks like. So right brain means that you're very, very creative. And so therefore, my sort of heroes would be the likes of Disney and Branson, Richard Branson and, Steven Spielberg and people like that. They don't necessarily give out too much knowledge, whereas Seth Godin does. They keep it to themselves. Although I must say, Richard Branson, if you ever get the chance to see him or listen to him on a podcast, he's just fantastic. Do you know he didn't know the difference between gross profit and net profit until about 5 years ago?
That doesn't surprise me because I do have to sit down and think about like, okay, which one is net, which one is gross? Okay, top line, bottom line, got it.
Yeah, but I think you and I have got an excuse for that because we're not quite at that level, but to be running businesses like he does. And
Fair.
look, what is really charming about him is that he admitted it. He said, look, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm completely right-brained. And it was only 5 years ago I found out the difference between gross and net.
I love that. And if someone is really connecting with you, they want to learn more, they want to follow along, they loved this conversation, where can they find you online?
I wish I could say that I don't need any more work because I own my own private island near Hawaii, but that's not the truth. When you've had 6 kids, they take all your superannuation money. So therefore, I'm still working. Yeah. Look, if anyone wants to contact me, the email is john@theinstituteofwow.com. Okay, john@theinstituteofwow.com. My website, of course, is theinstituteofwow.com. And if anyone's interested in that vacation promotion, then just go to vacationsincentive.com. So that's plural, vacationsincentive.com. And when you go to that website, by the way, you'll see the vacations are $97. But if you mention this, this webinar with Elisa, then we cut that in half. So that's why I say $50.
And if you're looking for me, you can find me online. I'm on LinkedIn. You can search Alyssa Nolte. And if you find the notorious plant killer, you know you have found the right Alyssa Nolte. I also write on Substack under Alyssa Likes to Talk. John, thank you so much for coming to join us today. I loved this conversation. I loved the reimagining of what it means to bring value to the table, to give our customers something a little bit extra, a little bit of a cherry on top, and making sure that we're not ruining or discounting or ruining the value of our core business in the process. So thank you for sharing your knowledge with us today.
My pleasure. Hey, thanks.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. There are millions of podcasts out there, and something like 70,000 new episodes are released every single day. It's not lost on me how lucky I am to have such an incredible community who show up and support this show. To be a guest or nominate someone who should join me on the pod, head to alyssanolte.com. And if you're looking for ad-free episodes, you can join me on Substack. I post all new episodes of my podcasts and share appearances on other people's shows, plus bonus content and updates on what I'm working on. Search Alyssa Likes to Talk or tap the link in the show notes.